Come on in. Come on in. Hello. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Thank you all for being here. Guess what? I never plugged this in for Facebook. I have it in my hand right now, and I was about to lay it down, not plug it. You can't hear this. Watch the difference right here. You hear me now? Entertaining Angels from the desk of Pastor Tony Carson. I want to challenge each one of you that come in here this morning to come back for 40 days. I want to show something powerful to you that God has set in order. It's all through the scriptures. It's all through the Bible, from old all the way through the new, and it still goes on today. You do something for 40 days that's obedient to God, and watch what happens in your life. It's amazing. He shows up and reveals himself. I challenge you, come do this for 40 days with me. I'm also going to do the 40 days of the Lord's Prayer, word for word, just like he said, when you pray, say this. And I experienced the most amazing power come from that when I first started this thing. That was the most powerful thing that I experienced, was that moment of that breakthrough after 40 days of saying the Lord's Prayer, word for word. It takes seconds. Well, maybe, if you say it real fast. Here we go. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we've forgiven those who trespassed against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. All right, let's get into it. Pastor Tony Carson, May 15th, 2019. Come do this with me, 40 days in a row. I want to show you something amazing. It not only will make you a believer in the power of God, but those around you will tell you about it. I promise you, it's happened. It'll happen again. Entertaining Angels. Pastor Tony Carson, May 15th, 2019. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 2 says, "Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares." What are angels? They're ministering spirits. In Hebrews chapter 1, verse 7, it says, "And of the angels he saith, who maketh his angels spirits, and his ministers of flame of fire." Hebrews chapter 1 and verse 14 says, "Are they not all ministering spirits, sent forth to minister for them who shall be heirs of salvation?" We're heirs of salvation, folks. We're not saved yet. You got to press on. Press on. Be careful who you entertain. Not all angels or spirits are of God. Remember, Satan was once an angel of God, but because of his pride and rebellion, he was cast out of heaven along with 1/3 of the angels who rebelled with him. Rebelling. I was rebelling for 20 years, actually. I just counted them up, and I'm never going to have to forget. It's like a venti coffee. You know what? I always say large. It's a venti. Okay. Venti means 20. 20 ounces, kind of like a medium. Kind of confusing me. Be careful for who you entertain, because not all angels are spirits of God. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 14 through 15 says, "And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to the works." Folks, he's telling you that you can be deceived by somebody and thinking they're good, and it's a work of the devil in your life. This is their domain. You know, God set on this earth the principalities and powers on high places. Be careful who you entertain. Be careful who you open the door up to. But walk in no fear. Have light of God, that discernment of God that shows you, and you know them by their fruits. Here you go. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 4 says, "For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down, just as God has angels and ministering spirits or messengers, so does Satan. So he cast them down, so does Satan. In 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 7 says, Paul said his thorn in the flesh was a messenger of Satan sent to buffet him. So how can we tell the difference? We try the spirits. 1 John 4, verse 1 says, Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits, whether they are of God, because many false prophets are gone out into this world. Going back to our original text, we read, some have entertained angels or spirits unawares. The word entertain is from the Greek word zenizo, which means to receive as a gift or to lodge. Give no place to the devil. Knowing that his time is short, Satan is sending forth his angels and ministers, messengers, and spirits to us, hoping we will entertain them. Don't open the door to them. Don't invite them into your heart, your house, or your mind. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 27 says, Neither give place to the devil. Don't entertain him. Matthew chapter 7, verse 15 says, Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Acts chapter 20, verse 29 says, For I know this, that after my departing shall grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock. It's like a contagious disease. We must be careful not to entertain these angels of Satan. These spirits of the enemy are adept at spreading fear, doubt, deception, compromise, apostasy, and rebellion. If any saint entertains these spirits, it can spread through a whole congregation like a highly contagious disease. Israel had to wander in the wilderness for 40 years because of this. 10 men who entertained the spirits of fear and unbelief. Even though Caleb and Joshua had another spirit and tried to influence the congregation to go up immediately and take the promised land, it was a promise. Caleb and Joshua got it too. They had to wait 40 more years for these. Never mind. Even though Caleb and Joshua had another spirit and tried to influence the congregation to go up immediately and take the promised land, the spirits of these other spies convinced the whole congregation to doubt and question God. Don't do it, folks. Be obedient. When he says something to you, follow it. I mean, it don't matter how peculiar or weird it is. Either do what God says to do, and he speaks to you, and watch him prove himself to you. By their fruits, watch this, Matthew 7 and 20. Wherefore, by their fruits, ye shall know them. He didn't say judge them. He said know them by their fruits. This lesson is not to discourage you from entertaining God's angels, but to make you aware that not all spirits are of God. Therefore, we must discern what is and is not of God. What kind of fruit do they bear? But the fruit of the Spirit, in Galatians 5, verse 22, you all know this, the fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, goodness, meekness, temperance, faith, long-suffering, and gentleness. I think it's the 9th one. I did all that by heart. Thank you. Galatians 5 and 22. And Ephesians says, For the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness and righteousness and truth, proving what is acceptable unto the Lord. That's Ephesians chapter 5, 9 through 10. If 1/3 of the angels belong to Satan, guess what? 2/3 belong to God. They that are with us are more than they with them. Be encouraged today. Be in connection with God. Thanks for joining me. Come back tomorrow. 40 days. Let's do it in a row. Watch what happens. At day 20, all the hell kind of comes at you, and you realize you're doing something powerful. It'll shake you, and you realize the devil's real. That enemy knows what I'm doing. And then around day 40 or 41 is when this new miraculous thing happened. It blows your mind. I do it every time, and it happens every time. Come do it with us. 40 days. 40 days. God bless. God day.